Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Work+Love Live. It's actually going to be the last episode that's branded this way because we are in transition, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do that, you notice that I'm in a very different scenario. You're probably hearing the various background noises of being at the lake with the Smeltzers. That's right, I'm on vacation this week, but as I mentioned, for all of my fellow heart workers who get the weekly heart planner, I committed to showing up on a weekly basis. So these and the 120-day Qigong challenge, my commitment to you, I've been showing up because this exchange is just as much nurturing for me as it is work. I mean, it's one of those things that's built into my work that is a mutual practice. So, and I'm incredibly blessed for that. So let's talk about Work+Love Live and what's happening. So this is not anything new. You can see if you've gone through all the episodes of Work+Love Wednesday since their inception. I have been trying to figure out where this fits. I even tried to dismiss it. It came back, as we saw during COVID. It just felt like it needed to show up. And after weeks of doing this is what's happening moving forward. So for a long time, I've been wanting to launch something called HRart School, which was all about creating these HR intuitive lessons. If you haven't been following me on social media and don't know, I'm getting ready to launch a book in September, or release a book in September called The HR Intuitive, which is all about 33 lessons to awaken your inner guide, which is your intuition. And as I have been immersed in that work and working on that manuscript, I've found that this weekly exchange has been those intuitive lessons, has been what I wanted to put in HRart School. I was a little heart happy and named everything Heart. And really now I want to embrace this HR intuitive brand. So this, starting next week, starting in August, as we dive into a new theme, will be branded as the HR Intuitive Institute. Institute being a place of research, because everything that I do and I share with you has been with me doing the inner research first. You know, I am guinea pig, the ultimate guinea pig here. And so that's where I'm coming from. So I hope that you like it, and then we're going to really take this and embrace this intuitive. And you've already seen some of the branding, the new thumbnail for this one, and even calling them lessons, because that's what they're going to be. Half debating, I might go back and rebrand all of them as lessons, might keep them as is for right now, but moving forward, we'll label these lessons. And we're also going to go with the format that I started last week, which was with these questions, because I thought these questions have really helped to lay out the framework. And it's also a really nice way for you to add questions as well. So I think I'm going to provide an avenue for you to submit questions in regards to your intuitive development in the professional world, for you being able to connect to people. So I think we're going to do that. And I also want to make sure I do a link to the heart planner. So I have a lot of work to do. That stuff I'm not doing this week. So, but you should see it drop for next week. If you're curious about what's happening next month, because we're closing out our dream topic today, we're going to be talking about Michael. We're actually going to talk about angels, starting with Archangel Michael, who's all about safety and security, which I think is just a really strong theme, very relevant theme for right now. And so he will be our intuitive guide as we tap into some of that. So we'll talk a little bit about angels, but really talking about these messages that are centered around this theme of feeling safe, so that you can let go of fear and transition to love, which is also kind of what the basis is of what I've been really lumping everything that we do here in over. at Work+Love Wednesday. So the only other big change that I will say for you to anticipate, and this might be better for many of you, is that with the transition to the HR Intuitive Institute, we will be moving our lessons and our live class sessions to Thursdays at 12:15. So during lunchtime, 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. So that would be 11:15 Central Time Zone. And for all of my West Coast peeps, what is that? 9:15, so late morning. So depending on what your work life is like currently, you may be able to join me live, but the replays will always be available to you. They'll always be there for you. All right. What else? What else do I need to tell you before we get into our lesson today? If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Because, oh no. There we go. Subscribe to our channel, because when you do that, it gives you notifications every time that I go live. It's the best way to keep up to date if we have any kind of scheduling conflicts or technology glitches, which inevitably happens because we deal with the live platform. That's kind of my jam, more so than the recorded videos, which I do every once in a while. But with that, we have technology glitches, weather and all those kinds of things make certain things and delays happen. So if you're trying to watch us live, that's the best way to know, is to hit that subscribe button, and then also to hit the little bell to let us notify you and connect with you. All right. So let's talk about this topic today, which is all about this concept of soul senses, which are really your intuitive senses. So in a moment, I'll talk about how that links to the dream aspect that we've been familiar with. But as I promised, if you do get our heart planner, I put the 3 questions in there of what we were going to be talking about today. So let's talk about the senses of your soul. What are they? So what are these intuitive senses? Commonly, intuitive senses are known as gifts. Gifts of sight, gift of hearing, gift of knowing, seeing, hearing, knowing. There's even tasting and smelling. So what is this? This is being aware of other energies that exist beyond what we commonly associate with the tangible world. So this could be spirits. This could be guidance from angels. This could be guidance from your spirit guides. This could be guidance from the universe, from God. Whatever your belief system is, intuitive senses allow you to tune into that vibration so that you can fully get that message and fully have it come in clearly and understand what it means. So, yeah. So they're not gifts, they're senses. So that was one of the common misconceptions that I had when I first started learning about intuitive senses, is that I thought they were gifts. I thought that they were only special people had them. They're in fact senses. Some of us have them naturally stronger than others, just like any other senses that we have out there. Some of us are more sensitive than others, but we can all develop them and make them stronger. In fact, for most of your life, it's not uncommon to realize that you've had them active. You just suppress them because they're not labeled as normal in our society. And so we kind of, I don't know, we steer away from them. When something is intangible and hard to explain logically with the one side of our brain that we use as our trusty side of the brain, it makes us nervous. And so we choose to rationalize by saying, if I can't actually see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, or have a logical explanation, that it can't be real. I don't know. That's what we do. But there is this intuitive sense that allows you to see all the energies that are at play around you. So, and this is a deep pool of discussion that we can certainly, and we do certainly unpack over time in other lessons. But this is I just want to make it clear that when I say like gift of sight, or the intuitive sense from the soul of sight, is seeing, not necessarily seeing the future, but seeing imagery to help connect what the other energies are trying to share with you. And these are all across the board. Same thing with hearing. I've known people who hear just words, hear voices. And I think that we need to take a couple steps back and realize that it's not like what Hollywood and movies have really made it to be. Because I think that's one of the things, it's one of the main reasons why I can't watch a lot of scary movies, because it really kind of messes with with my belief system as I have these senses and they're activating, and what they mean and what they could turn into as they develop further. All right, so how are they materializing in your dreams? So one of the really interesting things is these senses are already present, as I mentioned. And as you are suppressing them during the day because they weird you out or you classify them as not normal, at night, it's pretty much a free-for-all. It's kind of a subconscious playground, and so they can kind of come alive and activate as they want to. You might not even realize that they are. So, for example, the intuitive sense of sight can resonate as seeing people that are no longer with us, seeing spirits. It can also materialize as seeing images that represent messages. So maybe there's a lot of people who are really in tune with numbers. There are some people who get images of places, of things, of animals. So like that's one that I have very much so in my dreams, is that these, which is why we unpacked 2 weeks ago, the snakes, animals will be the image that will be used, and I will know that it is an intuitive sense thing that's coming through. There's also the intuitive sense of smelling or tasting. So when you taste something in a dream or you smell something in a dream, it could be a soul message coming through. It could be a connection to another energy. Same thing as just the knowing. So there is a sense of intuitive knowing where you just know stuff, which is really hard for anyone to grasp, because how can you just know stuff? It's because you're getting information from a different source. And I'm not talking about lottery numbers and things like that, but just it's just it's a sense of knowing. And I think that's what makes these senses really hard, is that it's very difficult to explain and describe them until you start to experience them. And my goal is not to give you ultimate clarity so that you have these definitions that you can write down, but more so to awaken you to a place that as you are in your dream state or functioning throughout your day, you start to go, I wonder if that's one of those intuitive senses that she was talking about. So, yeah, so that's how they could be materializing. Hearing is a really popular one in there, because sometimes there's people who talk in your dreams. So we'll just put that there. And this takes us all to the grand, big finale question that I wanted to pose out there, was why are your dreams the safe place to work with them? So this is why they come alive, because it really is a safe place where we believe that the dreams, we can't, for many of us, even though we saw that there's science that says that possibly we can get to a place, and there's studies that we can get to a place and control our dreams. But for most of us, we just kind of go along for the ride. Because of that, we view this as like a safe arena for exploration. We don't really question if a loved one from the past shows up and wants to talk to us, if some strange person shows up and wants to talk to us, if we hear things, if we taste things. So you are playing in this basically huge, intuitive, sensitive development playground without even knowing it. And now you can kind of set intentions there. I can tell you that one of the main tricks that I used early on, I'm very sensitive with intuitive sight of seeing. And I am aware of energies that are hanging around and lingering on Earth that are not alive in the physical way that we know it. So whether you want to call that ghosts or spirits. And I really had struggles with this as a child of interactions with these energies. Working with a holistic practitioner early on taught me how to set boundaries, and this is something that I'm still taught today. In fact, in my Qigong class, a lot of my peers give me new tools, resources on how to keep making these boundaries even stronger. And so one of them that I've set is that if someone has a message to communicate and they feel compelled to share, that the only place that they're allowed to do it is truly in my dreams. So they're not allowed to come and see me in the middle of the night, because that was a lot of what was happening was in a certain portion of the night. And there's a reason for that. It's not because it's the deep, dark, creepy time. There's a definite reason why energies are more active at a certain point in time at night. But that's a lesson for another day. We're not talking about that. Maybe it's like a Halloweeny episode kind of question. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah. So that is what I got for you this week. So that's what we're talking about, dreams. So the other thing that I've been playing with is initially I had been integrating a Qigong practice in here for 5 minutes. I don't know if this is really the home for it as the HRart Intuitive Institute. I think those lessons will come through as needed, and I will share them. Really starting moving forward, looking at these as mini class sessions. And I really want to plan accordingly like that and have every month be kind of like a curriculum. Anyways, so make sure that you hop in and say hello if you watch on the replay. Leave in the comments. I am going to be sending out some surveys to see kind of what your feedback is on a couple of things. Also going to be upping the blurb for next week as we launch officially the HRart Intuitive Institute with how to sign up for the Heart Planner, a place to submit questions so we can answer those. And hopefully you'll join me next week for our first live class session in the HRart Intuitive Institute on Thursday at 12:15. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope that this served you well, and I hope that the entire month of July you paid close attention to your dreams and what they may be sharing with you. And as always, I would love to hear from you as to what they are sharing with you. So drop me a line, leave a comment. If you're not comfortable, send me an email at Samm with 2 M's, SAMM @leadershipisart.com. And I will talk to you later. See ya.